started our block 4. We have just discussed the agrarian class. Okay, so in block 4, there are other concepts are there. That is working class, middle class, and perspectives on class, and gender. Other units, 4 units are there. We will start from the working class. Okay. So when Indian stratification system or Indian population, they are divided. Uh, the first kind of division we had already discussed, that is, or when that population is stratified, that is on the basis of agriculture. Okay, so agriculture in Indian society, agriculture provides you that base on the basis of which you can categorize or classify the Indian population. Okay, so when we say that agrarian stratification, or means the how different categories or stratas are present in a particular agrarian society or in a agrarian structure of a particular society, that is Indian society. You can see that there are different positions are there, social positions are there in that agrarian structures or in that particular society. Okay, and those positions or those strata, they are decided or they have been constructed by the particular society. Okay, for example, we had in Indian society like landlord, zamindar, kisans, and mazdurs. Okay, so like the peasant, the concept of peasant in India, it has a different meaning or it has a different kind of perception in India. Okay, so in that agrarian structure or in that agrarian system, you may find different many other kind of class or different many other kind of social categories. Okay, and those having a different natures of description. Okay, so that is one kind of class we had discussed uh, in our last class. Okay, so next is your that is working class. Okay, so the working class, as we understood that, that is not uh, that has emerged, or that is very popularly discussed when we discuss the that is capitalist kind of uh, mode of production. Okay, so in that capitalist society, you will find that society that is uh, divided into two categories. That is what we said, that the capitalist and other is the that is working class. Okay, so the general conception is that those who are having the means of production, or those who are ruling or managing the means of production, they are the capitalists. It means they have all the facilities, or they have all that power, prestige, and privileges in the society, which a upper strata will uh, that can access. Okay, in opposition, there are other categories are there, those are called as the working class. Okay, so who are deprived of those power, prestige, and privileges, because as they are not capable or they cannot access those power, prestige, and privileges. Okay, so society that is being divided into two categories or two class. One is the capitalist, or other is the working class. Okay, so going to the history of working class, here you will find that uh, in different phases of the history, or in different phases of the development of a particular society, you will find there are there are various natures which are being saved in those phases of that working class. Okay, so there you will find a particular working class, they have a different kind of definitions, or they have a different kind of nature of explanation when we are discussing them. Okay, for example, in the pre-modern times, when uh, we had using the list kind of that is called the modern science and technology, or modern tools and techniques. Okay, in that phase, what was the uh, criteria, how we are deciding or how we are finding that particular working class? Okay, so they have a different kind of different natures, to different natures which was attached to them. Okay, so and in the phase of industrialization, you will find there are many other natures which are attached to that particular working class population. Okay, and in the phase of the war situation, okay, when the different powers, they were trying to uh, establish different kind of colonies in different parts of the world. In that phase, you will also find the working class, they have their uh, changed kind of definition, or they have changed kind of you will find natures. Okay, and in a present context, you will find there are in phase wise phase, you will find they have changed their nature, or they are differently explained. Okay, uh, here it has been given that in the pre-capitalist society, where like the civilization, Roman civilization or Greek civilizations, or the in China, okay, how those working class, they were defined. Okay, so they were just defined as the laborers uh, in the uh, places like coal mining areas. Okay, or in the places like where different kind of metals, they are being produced. Okay, so in those area, you will find they are considered as uh, the person who are giving labors, they are considered as the working class. Okay, because they don't fit in the stereotype kind of structures of a particular society, or that stratification system of a particular society. Okay, in early capitalism also, you will find they have their different explanations. Okay, how they are being defined. Okay, Devi, will you please mute yourself? Okay. In the early phase of capitalism, here you will find that those working place like the iron and coal mining areas, okay, and those pre-phase of a industry, okay, they are now turning into a new self, or they are taking a new self. Like uh, there is a rapid growth of the cities, and because the city, they are rapidly going, you will find there is a huge demand or huge need of this working class. Okay, as we can see that, for example, if a particular city that is being expanded, you can imagine how many kind of services, or how many kind of uh, areas we need, where a particular laborers, they have to do their laboring. Okay, for example, we need drivers, we need house helper, okay, or we need construction worker, we need uh, different other workers who can do in sanitation uh, spears. Okay, or we need drivers, or we need gardeners, watchmen. Okay, so you can imagine how much working avenues they are opening, and for that we need those working class. Okay, so because of the rampant, or because of the rapid growth of those cities in pre-capitalist phase, there is a growing demand of that working class. Okay, and in the early pre-capitalist state, you will find there are in those mines area, in iron or the coal mines area, the work, any kind of work, may it be work which is having a heavy risk, or which is having a high risk, those work also done by the this human beings, or this working class. But in the early phase of your that is the capitalist uh, society, you will find that those those machines, they they are trying to uh, uh, they are trying to snatch the work of those uh, working human beings. Okay, so these, in that phase, there is a huge demand of the uh, working class, and the cost of those the machines, or the cost of those tools and techniques in some of the uh, industries, or in some of the small industries, okay, they were replacing with the human beings. Okay, the cost of those machine, it was replaced by those machines. Okay, so there is a demand of those working class. Okay, and they 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 have some kind of similarities, they say. Okay, like in the pre industrial stage of the peasant society, and the working class of in the uh, of the early capitalist society, they have a similar kind of you can say the life standard, you can say the um, life conditions, or the access to different kind of resources, they are similarly given that much of access, or that amount of access. Okay, so there is a similarity in different phases of history of the working class, or you can find a difference in their work in different phases of history, but there are certain kind of characteristic similarities in different phases of the society. In capitalist society also, we have seen that how uh, uh, that that growing divide between the capitalist and the working class, they have uh, they have they have actually widened the uh, group, or they have actually widened their you can say the conditions of those working class. Okay, so here you can see that the major characteristics of capitalist society is that the persons, they are used in the production system, and the surplus which are drawn because of those working class, that surplus is not shared with those people. So surplus, that was only taken away by the capitalist. Okay, so here also you will find the similar condition of that working class as that were found in the early capitalist society, and in the pre phases of that capitalist society. Okay, the condition of that working class, that is always same. Okay, and during the war situation, mm, World War situation, here you will also find that same kind of nature of those working class. Okay, some of the political parties, they have tried to give them a new stand, or they have tried to use them a new stand, but at least you will find that this their condition that has not changed as much. Okay, and they the, that condition still was lying with that previous conditions, that was aligned with the previous conditions. Okay, and in post war you will also find that they have uh, that similar condition. And in 70s and in 80s, the same condition of the working class it is found. Maybe the types of job that has changed. Okay, like we were saying, in the early phase of the capitalist society, or in the pre industrial society, the work which were identified with the working class, that was the person who was working in the mining area. Okay, but in the capitalist society you can imagine that those area of work, or the avenue of work, it has changed to the industries. Okay, in 70s and 80s you will find that that is that working area, it has shifted to other phase, uh, like you can see the in industries there may be the different structures or different ladders are there. Okay, ladders of works are there. The lower cadres, they are considered as the working class. Okay, so here you will differentiate. There is a differentiation of white collar job, blue collar jobs. Okay, so that kind of differentiation you will find in 70s and 80s. The dif- the avenues where a work where we can find the working class, it has changed, but the condition of that working class, it remains same throughout the phases. Okay, so they are the least kind of surplus, or least kind of um, power, prestige and privilege they are allowed to access. And the life standard of that working class, it remains different from the opposite section of the society, like the capitalist in the in capitalist society. Okay, so they have a different kind of power, or they have a different kind of accessibility power. Okay, so what are the if we consider what is the definition of working class in uh, in today's area. Okay, it is quite different. You will find that. Hello. Okay, so in the present context, uh, you will find the nature of working class, it is different from that which what was found in the previous stages of the society, like we said, the pre industrial society, or in the early phase of society, or in the capitalist society, or the industrial society, and during the war phase, and in post war phase. Okay, so they have changed that they, the nature of that working class, it has changed throughout the phases of the history. Okay, in late 80s, there you will find the late parties, they have tried to uh, and they have a different perspective regarding this working class. Okay, and they have differently tried to pose them in the society, and they have differently check out the status and the objectives of those working class. Okay, so here you will find no longer a particular group, they are defined as a working class. Okay, it may vary from the society to society, and it may vary from the that you can say the different kind of thoughts or different kind of ideology. Okay, so but the left parties, they have tried to give them a unified kind of criteria how they can be defined, or how they can be identified. Coming to the Indian scenario, uh, here you will see that how this group they have emerged, or how uh, there is a growth of this working class. Okay, so there are different kind of pages are there. Okay, first we will see that in the previous part, or in the previous unit, we have already discussed that Indian society that is identified with a particular kind of livelihood system, that is agriculture. Okay, so every systems, or every structure that is being closely identified or closely related to that particular system, that is agriculture. Okay, and here also we will find that uh, there are different structurations are there. Okay, and not only the agriculture, but agriculture and agricultural allied activities are present. For example, we had also small industries, cottage industries, those were present. Okay, and they were trying, they have their own kind of uh, you can say the industry systems. Okay, for example, you can see the artisan community of different parts of India. Okay, the potterers, or the jewelry makers, or the basket makers, or the weavers. Okay, so there are many groups which are present in India, and they have their own way of producing the things. Okay, so one major livelihood source was the agriculture, and other was the allied kind of activities. Okay, which is which was supporting the agriculture, or uh, uh, which was fitted in that agricultural cycle. Okay, no doubt these artisan community, they were also involved in agricultural activities. Okay, or there are many other allied activities are there which are supporting the agricultural system, as we said, the basket makers, or the blacksmith. Okay, or you can say the rope makers, carpenters. Okay, so they have their own traditional work, which are supporting the agricultural system. Okay, so uh, prior to the colonial phase, we had a you can say, we don't have that kind of unified uh, source of livelihood. Okay, as we said that a particular society, they are identified, they have these kind of livelihood system. Okay, but India, we have a multiple structures of livelihood. Okay, and that was not limited to that pre-modern times of production system, that had also gone to the extent of industries. Okay, small cottage industry we can find, we had. Okay, so when the colonies they were established, you can see there are different phases of establishment of colonies were there. Okay, so from the uh, trade, from the trade purpose, uh, uh, we had identified that this country can be the supplier of raw materials. Okay, like uh, the textiles or the silk, that was the main focus. Then we can see how different other raw materials they were exported from India. Okay, like the indigos, tea, okay, spices. There are many kind of goods they were identified, or many kind of raw materials they were identified, and they were exported to the different parts of the world. Okay, for the trade purpose. Okay, so because of that course of action, you will find the previous structure of livelihood source that was affected, that was severely affected. Okay, the first kind of impact we have already discussed, that the agrarian structures. Okay, the autonomy in the agriculture, that was snatched away by the Britishers. Okay, you can see a different sections of the agrarian structures, they were being reduced to the working class only. Okay, there was the introduction of the intermediary system, there was the imposition of taxation system. Okay, so that those kind of new policies and the introduction of the new structures and mechanism in agricultural structures, okay, that was largely affected the production system, or the structure of that particular structure of Indian society. Okay, like we were forced to produce the uh, cash crops. Okay, uh, we were forced to work in our land which is owned by us. Okay, so that power shifting, okay, or that huge impact or huge interference in the agricultural system, that has changed the structure of agrarian structure of Indian society. Okay, so there you will find a that is a steady, not steady. All of a sudden, the well working agrarian structure, or the uh, livelihood structure, they were turned into a working structure where the individuals, they were not the producer, rather they were the worker only. Yeah, like they were being reduced to the mazdoor only. Okay, like you have to pay the heavy taxation. Okay, so they were trapped to do that working class job only, or the laboring only. Okay, those cottage industry, they were because of the introduction of the British products, or the industry based products. Okay, so the cottage industry, they were got severely affected. Okay, there is a declining demand of the uh, mm, native products. Okay, the industry produced goods, they were much cheaper, and the market was for that industry based product. Okay, the conducive market was found there. So the native products, or the indigenous product, they got affected. So gradually those cottage industry, they get affected, and they are not no longer a performing unit. Okay, so, and because of that kind of unproductive kind of unit, or you can say because of that loss, those artisan community which were working in those cottage industry, now they have turned to a worker only. Okay, the laborer only. For example, you can say the potterers. If the demands of pottery work is not there, what is the immediate option is there? That is only the laboring, because those community, those artisan community, they had the skill, or they have the skill of that particular art only. Okay, so they cannot be fitted in other kind of work. The only option is that they will do the laboring work. Okay, so in India you will see that after the colony that is established in India, there is a steady growth of that particular group of working class in different sections of the society. That working class, they were getting you can say they are getting bigger, or they are getting uh, large in numbers. Okay, uh, the craftsmen, which were they were forced out from their age long professions. Okay, uh, because of that kind of colonial policies, you will find those working class, they have emerged in India. Okay, like um, we had different meals were there. Okay, in the Surat, in the Bombay province, you have seen, in the Madras province also you have seen. We had certain kind of small industries were there, but certainly they are changed to the different working unit. Okay. So the colonial policies, it has actually affected those units, and they have changed to the those working group. They were limited to the working class only. Okay. Okay, here it is given there are some kind of, as we were discussing, the nature and the identification of working class. It has changed throughout the ages, like in the pre-industrial era, during the industrial era, and during the war period, and in post-world periods. Okay, so they have different, they have changed into a different shape. Okay, in India also you will find it has taken a different shape. The first kind of difference which were discussed, that is, uh, in European society, you will find the artisan community, still they have that type, they had continued that kind of work. Okay, for example, still they are gaining that similar power, prestige, and privileges. They were not driven out from their traditional social structure of a uh, particular economic structures. Okay, but in India, that scenario, it was changed. Okay, as we have said that uh, the colonial policy, it has destroyed the handicapped and cottage industries. Okay, and the modern industries, in replacement of that cottage industries and handicapped industries, the modern industries, it cannot grow off to that place. Okay, so there is a, you can say, displacement of those artisan and crafts communities. Okay, because the traditional form of work, it was no longer accepted, and whenever they have took a new form of work, it cannot be, that has not grown to that level. Okay, so they were displaced from that uh, economic structures. That scenario you will find in India. Okay, but and again it is different from that European society. Okay, and the next kind of nature, the difference you will find in India, that is that there is a uh, gap between destruction of traditional cottage industry and its partial replacement by the modern industries. Okay, like the disposition. disposed artisan and craftsmen. They lost their age-old technical skills, and they entered in the modern industry without their any kind of initial skills. Okay, as we are discussing that, if you are snatching the uh, avenues of those craftsmen or the artisan groups, okay, the ultimate and the immediate option left out is that is the doing labor in different kind of avenues. For example, they will do the that is they will do laboring in construction site, but they may not have that kind of initial skill. The porter is doing work in a um, in the that is construction site. Okay, so in one part they have lost their revenue, and they have lost their skill also because of that unavailability of that job avenues, or the decline demand of their products. They have also lost their technical skills, and in new job avenues they don't have those kind of skills. Okay, that kind of gap is found. And going to the discussing the workers of those industries. Okay, uh, there you will find uh, mm, shift in their culture also. Okay, shift in the social status, and shift in their different many other kind of social aspect. Not only their economic aspect it has been affected, but also the social aspect of that group, it has been very deeply affected. Okay, as we have said that from your work, uh, other structures or other social structure it will get built. The economic structure it will build the social structures. Okay, if you are dismantled from your uh, traditional workforce, then you are being displaced from your social structure also. Okay, so that kind of change it has been affected, or it has been found. For example, mm, the chamars kamas, they were identified as a particular with a particular kind of skills, or with a particular kind of uh, job avenues, or job particular kind of traditional skills. If they are not given that kind of avenues, they will be fitted in other kind of working avenues. But the uh, social identity it will be hindrance for them. Okay, like the caste. Okay, so that kind of social shift it has also happened in the Indian society. Okay, if they are being displaced from their traditional workforce or traditional work scenario, the society they are not for welcoming for those kind of displaced group in the new job avenues. Okay, so the caste, the traditional work, or the traditional skills, or the lifestyle, it will be getting uh, they will go along with that particular persons. Okay, so it will affect their new job avenues. Okay, so here I will take 10 minutes breaks. I will start at sharp 7:30. Okay, we will discuss the
Yes, ma'am.
next unit, that is perspectives on tribe and the caste, class, and gender.
ତାପରେ କେଁ କରିବି ତାପରେ ଭିଡ଼ିଓଟା ବନ୍ଦ କରିବି।
Okay, let's resume to the class. So, the first kind of social category we discussed, that is the agrarian class, and second is the working class. Okay. So, the third category is the third types of social category you will find in India, that is the middle class. Okay. Very popularly we use this term, and we try to refer a particular kind of uh, social group in India. Okay, so when we spell that term middle class, okay, there are many theorists or many thinkers who have tried to define that term, or who have tried to give the meaning to this middle class. Okay, as we knows that there are different meanings, or there are you can say there are different characteristics of a particular caste system. Okay, so we have different nature when we discuss that particular term class. Okay, so class, as we have already have discussed, that it is just a social category mentioning a particular group, or identifying a particular group uh, based on their quantity of resources they are possessing. Okay, how much, or what is the amount of the possession of economic resources. Okay, based on that, we try to identify that particular group, that is class. Okay, we were discussing the agrarian class. Okay, there also we are trying to define, or we are trying to categorize that particular structure on the basis of the amount of position of that particular production system. Okay, as we have said that Jamindar, Kisan, Mazdoor. Okay, so here we, by mentioning these terms, we can clearly imagine What is the amount of possession, material possession, zamindar? It is obvious that they have the ownership, or they largely possess the uh, lands. Okay, there is a deposition of land with this particular group of jamindar. Okay, then when we are coming to the kisan, here definitely we say that they are not the working groups, but nor they have the larger deposition of the land. Rather, we are saying that they may own the smaller patch of the land, and they do the agricultural activity. There are different kind of definition, or different kind of natures of this working class, this kisan classes there. Okay, and going to the Mazdur, we said that neither they have the possession of the land, nor they are doing agriculture for their consumption. Rather, they are doing agriculture, or they are the working group in the agricultural structures. Okay, but they have a least amount of possession of this means of production, or the production system. Okay, so neither they possess, nor they have the that amount of surplus which is enjoyed by them. Okay, so nothing is left with those mazdurs. Okay, that is the definition of the three different class which are present in the uh, agrarian structures. Okay, so whenever we are discussing these social class, or that economic class, we are directly referring to the possession of uh, different income source, the amount of possession, how much they are possessing, we are directly referring to that. Okay, going to the middle class, there are different kind of categorization uh, of the society by different social thinkers. But again, it is based on the income, or it is based on the particular kind of parameters, that is the possession of the materials, or possession of the uh, production systems, or means of production, whatever it may be, which is related, directly related to the income or livelihood. Okay, so uh, going to the examples, how different social thinkers, they have tried to define the middle class, or they have tried to define the social class. Okay, here we will find that first, the Marx, the very popular thinker, we have seen that he has divided the society into two categories. Okay, two social categories. Okay, one is um, the capitalist, other is the working class. Okay, here you have seen that uh, in the working class, or in the capitalist group, not every person, they are having the ownership of means of production. Not every person from the group of working class, they are doing the that is the laboring. There are some group who have the uh, who have different natures, who can enter into the next social category, that is the capitalist group. Okay, and they have the similar kind of natures. Okay, like you have seen that the social categories, like the trade union unions, trade union members, or the leaders. Okay, or the kingmaker in the capitalist groups. Okay, so they have different kind of natures in two groups. Okay, so according to mass, it may be two groups, but there is a presence of the other social classes also. Okay, and there are also thinkers like C. Wright Mills, okay, Darren Droffs. They have they have tried to explain, or they have tried to uh, define the middle class, or they have tried to categorize the social groups in different categories. Okay, so going to the Indian scenario, here we will move back to that particular and how that colonial policy it has affected the Indian economic system. It has tried to uh, uh, destroy the Indian economic system, and from that point they have tried to identify a particular social group which can help them in doing that business, or in doing that trade. Okay, so here you will see that British ruler, they have actually tried to create that particular social group which can help them in the uh, trade, okay, in the trading procedure. Okay, for example, we have seen that the English learned uh, working class, okay, or the teachers, or the lawyers, okay, or the civil servants. Okay, so in that particular period, they had been trained to intermediate between the larger society India and the British rulers. Okay, so in that way, they have tried to create that particular class of which is called as the middle class. Okay, they actually try to intermediate between the Indian society at large and the British ruler in the opposition. Okay, so and very popularly these are the uh, as we have mentioned that some servant, okay, or the teachers, college teachers, lawyers, okay, they are identified, they are called as the middle class in those British era. Okay, and here you will also find there is a variations in the urban and the rural middle class system. Okay, as we have seen that in the agrarian structures also, those peasants, the kisans, there are different definitions are there. The possession of the land which is owned by those peasants, or which is owned by those kisans, it varies from the different localities and the different regions of India. Okay, in some parts they may own smaller parts, in other parts they may do the role of tenants. Okay, where they may take the lands from the uh, landlords in the form of lease, and they do the agricultural work. Okay, and surplus is divided. Okay, and they may employ the working group, the mazdoors, in their farmlands. Okay, so that kind of role they are also taking. So there is a variation, or there is a differentiation in the uh, regions, how uh, the rural and urban middle class they function. Okay, and another major impact which has been brought by particular revolution, that is called green revolution. As we have said that because of that revolution, you will find there is a immediate identification of class system in India, in rural India. And after that green revolution, you will find these tenants or these peasants, they have taken a different shape. They have grown to a different social class, and they can be called as the middle class. uh, so there is a difference in the urban and rural middle class. Okay, like in the urban society, we may identify a particular jobs holders. They are defined as the middle class groups. Okay, and that is based on the solely based on the income categories. Okay, how much they are or earning from different source of earning. Okay, so the amount of earnings or the amount of income, it will identify, it will categorize them as a middle class. Okay, so there are different thinkers in India who have actually studied the social class in the rural India as well as the in the urban India, like Andre Vite or the Yogendra Singhs. Okay, so they have actually tried to um, analyze the social class in advent of that changing forces, like the colony establishment of colony by the Britishers, or how the modernity it has actually tried to given a rise to the growth of middle class. Okay, as we have seen that the forces of modernity or uh, the different uh, mm, forces of modernity, they have actually given that platform where a middle class they can grow. Okay, for examples, that concept, that middle class concept, somehow it is shaped by the uh, media also. Okay, the ongoing media also. Okay, so the forecasting of different role or the different characters of a middle class, okay, that have actually largely impacted the Indian masses. Okay, so middle class can be identified with these kind of position, this kind of job availability, like we were mentioning the teacher, we were mentioning the servant in a the officer, civil servants. Okay, so these kind of job holders they may be identified as the middle class, and this middle class community they have this kind of this amount of income, and they will spend their life in a particular way as the class that is saying that a upper class and a lower class, maybe it any other kind of class, that class has a similar kind of lifestyle and a life chances. Okay, so the middle class they have also that a particular similar amount of income, and they will try to spend those income in a similar way. Okay, for income, for education this particular amount, for health this particular amount, but there are different kind of expenditures are there which are similar to every middle class families or every middle class members. Okay, so the media in India it has actually tried to give in a picture of a middle class member and how that middle class member life look. Okay, for example, as we are saying, the daily routine of a middle class in different soap opera or on different cinemas or in different many other kind of forum they have tried to uh, explain. Okay, the middle class life in India it's looks like that. Okay, so and you have also seen that the economic changes or the economic reforms, okay, it has also affected the middle class community, or it has also given that space where this middle class they can grow. For example, we have seen that uh, different industries, okay, they have focused a particular group. Okay, they have focused for the production of a particular kind of products which will be consumed by the middle class people. Okay, so the consumption and the class culture, they are closely related in India, and especially the middle class consumption patterns and the production system. They are closely related. Okay, the products which are available, you can see that they are mainly targeting to that particular community. Okay, for example, some products, they have a different consumers, and some other products, they have a target group from the middle class, and some other kind of products, they will target the poorer class people. Okay, as we can say, the daily electronic gadgets, uh, which are consumed by the middle class peoples. Okay, so uh, on the basis of their income, they will try to produce those types of electronic appliances or the gadgets, as we mentioned, the TV, fridge, mixers, grinder, or washing machine, the gadgets which can be used by the middle class persons. Okay, so it has actually saved, or it has actually affected the particular groups of group of India. Okay, just a minute. Okay, let's resume. I had an urgent call, so I had to answer that. Okay, so we were discussing that how Indian media, it has saved the idea of middle class, and it has also given a new safe and new identity to a particular social group. Okay, as we have discussed that how the those cinemas or soap opera, how they have tried to portray the life of a middle class, and that has actually given the economic output uh, of different industries. Okay, as we seen that the lifestyle of the middle class people, that is actually imitated by the masses. Okay, so the uh, production unit of those different appliances, they have actually focused those middle class group. As we said that the for example, the appearance of a middle class woman, the kind of fashions, or the kind of ornaments, or the kind of life they are leading, it is being portrayed by the those media houses, and that is being imitated by the larger society. Okay, so it has boosted the economic system for a particular reason, or that market of that particular group, it has been broadened. Okay, so the media, they have a larger impact or larger influence on the idea of middle class, and also the on the life of the middle class. Okay, so the going to the next unit, that is the perspective on caste, class, and gender. Here we will discuss that what is gender, and how it has a how it is related to the caste system, and how it is related to the class system. Okay, very popularly we knows that there is a difference between gender and sex. Okay, the simple definition of gender, we can say that it is the social construction of a uh, particular group. Okay, it is socially constructed. Okay, as we can say that the female, women, and the men. Okay, male, female, that we are saying that this is identified on the basis of the biological sex. Okay, but the identity of men and women, that is the construction of particular society. Who is a woman and who is a man, that is socially constructed. Okay, so gender is socially constructed. Okay, had it been the vice versa, it was okay if we had perceived that the male sex, they will be termed as the women, and the female sex, they can be they are identified as the male. That is okay. Okay, so how we have constructed, or how we have termed that particular group or a particular sex, that depend on the particular society. Okay, so gender is socially constructed. Okay, and why we, and it is subjective. We cannot say that uh, the role and responsibility of a woman in this particular society, for example, in a urban society and a rural society. Okay, that role and responsibility, it will vary, it is subjective. Okay, and you can also say that it will vary from the different social groups. Okay, like we were discussing the class, in a urban class it may vary, in a rural class system it may vary. Okay, we were also mentioning the caste. Okay, the construction of that woman, the role and responsibility of women in different caste system, it will definitely vary. So it is subjective. You cannot say that women has the same kind of role and responsibility that has to be rendered in the same way, irrespective of region, irrespective of caste, irrespective of class. That is not possible. Okay, so you have a different perception, you have a different perspective on women, or the idea of women in different class, or in different caste, and or in different, you can say, the reason. Okay, for example, we are saying that working women, we expect different kind of role and responsibility. Okay, or we are saying the housemaker. Okay, we have a different perception, we have a different kind of expectation from them. Okay, so gender, that is socially constructed, and it is subjected, and it may vary. Okay, as we have seen that the status of women in a pre-independence stage, and a status of women in post-independence stage, rightly after the independence, there is a variation. Okay, so that perception or the idea of that women, it may change at any time. Okay, as we have seen that after independence, when a constitution that is accepted in India, oh okay, or that is implemented, you can see that there is a immediate shift in that perception. Okay, constitution, it has empowered all the citizens of India. There you will not find the differentiation on the basis of sex. Okay, so they, it treats equally all its citizens. Okay, not the men and women. Okay, so it has termed them as a citizen. Okay, so the concept of gender, it will vary from time to time, or it will vary from space to space. Okay, or society to society. There has a different perception, as we have said that a traditional woman, or we are saying that a modern woman. Okay, so differently it is perceived, and uh, the term gender, that is socially constructed. Okay, men women uh, idea we have already discussed, or we are discussing that is the aged women, whom we will call the aged. Okay, whom we will call as the child. Okay, the idea and the role responsibility, that will vary. Okay, so it should not be understood that uh, gender, that is similar with the sex. It means those who are women, those who are female, they will be treated as the women, or they will have to render those kind of expectations, social expectation, that is always not true. Okay, so it is socially constructed. Okay, as we have said that mm, the stereotypes roles of a woman, or a stereotype roles of a man, a kid, or a aged, or a youth. Okay, so that role, that is socially constructed. Okay, so kid will not take the much responsibility, it will be involved in the other kind of activities. Youth will take the most responsibility. Okay, elder will not do the physical activities, rather they will be the think tanks. Okay, or we are saying women will do the household works, and men will earn the livelihood. Okay, they will be the breadwinners. Okay, that kind of perception, it is socially constructed. Okay, if had it not been the socially construction, we would not have seen that this kind of change as the women, they are taking the role of breadwinners. Okay, so that is socially construction. Because of that, these kind of change, that is possible. It was not objective, rather it was subjective. Okay, as we have said that men women are also doing the breadwinning job, and men are also doing the household work. Okay, if both they are working, or any kind of change in the two sex, that is happening. Okay, now women are also uh, doing the stereotypical job which were mentioned, it can only be done by the men. Like we were mentioning certain kind of job, like armed force job, soldiers, pilots, okay, or mining workers, okay, or engineering kind of professionals, okay, driving. These kind of jobs that were solely uh, categorized as the job which will only be done by the men. Okay, but that social construction of this job, it has changed. Now we are finding both genders, they are doing. Okay, so that is socially constructed. That is the concept of gender. And going to the relation between gender and caste, we have seen that caste, it has saved the construction of the gender. Okay, for example, in Indian society, we have seen that we are also discussing when we are uh, doing with that perspective on caste, how different classical writings, it has actually saved the uh, role and responsibility of the different groups. Okay, like we are saying that how different caste group, they will render their services, and what are the traditional jobs are there, those classical literature, it has uh, there it has been written. We'll also find the job description of the men and women in those classical literature also. Okay, so the caste in in Indian society, it has actually saved the idea of gender, who is a man and who is a woman, what are the stereotypes job of a woman, and what are the stereotypical job of a man, that has actually been written in the different classical literatures of Indian society. Okay, uh, for example, we have seen that there is a close relation when we are talking of the rituals, Indian rituals. You will find a close relation with the caste and gender. Okay, the many as we had already discussed that the concept like the upanayana ceremony. Okay, here you will also find that there are ceremony which are solely for the celebration of the womanhood, that is the puberty rituals. Okay, so after that puberty rituals, you will find there is a shift from a social responsibility, a shift from a particular previous status to a next status. Okay, they had joined, or they can join in the womanhood. Okay, so that kind of rituals are also there. And after those puberty rituals, you will find some are eligible for doing many kind of social ceremonies, or they are eligible for the marriage, or you can say they are given different status in the particular society. Okay, so the treatment or the perception of a women after puberty, that is different, and before puberty, that is different. Okay, so that will be treated as a different person. And we have also seen that there are some restriction in different rituals on the basis of the uh, gender. Okay, men can do this kind of ritual, women cannot do. Okay, like we were saying that we have already discussed the concept of the preference of male child in Indian society, why it is most required. Okay, they will carry forward the uh, particular kudo. Okay, so that kind of preference is there. Okay, so the description of a women responsibility and a men responsibility in Indian society in those classical literatures, that is very different. And it has in various way it has supported or it was repressed the uh, women identity. Okay, so caste, it has given a different perspective to gender in India. Okay, uh, and there are different variations in the perception of genders in different caste group. As we have said that the upper caste, okay, the women of upper caste, they have different power, prestige, and privilege. Women of a lower caste or a lower varna, they have different power, prestige, and privileges. Okay, uh, uh, power, prestige, and privileges, or else you can say uh, they may not have those power, prestige, and privileges. Okay, they will treat it as a different entity. Okay, so uh, the caste variations or the caste identity, caste ideology, or the Bodna ideology in Indian society, that is giving a different perspective to the gender in Indian society. Okay, like the widows. Okay, or we had said the separated women. Okay, or we can say the girl who have recently got its puberty. Okay, so you can see there is a difference. Okay, a girl or a woman after divorce or after the disease of her husband, it will be differently treated. Okay, it will, all its power, prestige, and privileges will go with the that deceased husband. Okay, so uh, mm, they have to lead their life uh, as the sannyasi, or they have to they have a totally different kind of life perspective after the deceased or after the death of her husband. Okay, so caste has a, you can say, the large impact on the Indian gender system. Okay, and going to the class system, there also you will find the impact of that class ideology on the gender. Okay, for example, like we have seen that the upper class women and the poorer class women, lower class women. Okay, the upper caste men and the lower caste men. Okay, the lifestyle, role responsibility, the ideologies, you will find the variations, or you will find the difference. Okay, so the level of aspiration in those different class groups, the level of different kind of ideologies. Okay, so you will find the difference. Okay, accessibility to the different resources, accessibility to the life chances. Okay, there will be a variations. Okay, so gender will be reshaped when we are going to the next that section, that is the class. Okay, in India we have a perception of gender, or we have a different perception of gender. But when we are discussing that gender in the caste arena, so that perception it will have a different. And when that gender that is being discussed in the class arena, that will have a other kind of perception. Okay, so as we have said that the widow in a caste perspective, okay, they have a like, they are not required, they are not needed. Okay, uh, they are tortured. But that widow in a class perspective, when we are discussing, okay, it will have a different kind, different other perception. For example, if that widow is having a possession of that is well amount of resources, well amount of that materials, then it is okay, it, she will be needed. Okay, she will have that equal opportunities, or she will have that equal kind of responsibility and respect, power and privileges. It is okay. Okay, but that will not same in the uh, perspectives of caste. May it be the widow of a higher caste, but the life of that higher caste woman, higher caste widow, that is not welcoming, or that is not you can say that is not accepted by that particular society. She has to suffer. That suffering is same in irrespective of the different caste groups. Okay, but the suffering of a widow in the class group, it may vary. Okay, in the class groups. Okay. So, class and gender, and class and gender, they have a separate they have a separate relation, and they largely affect each other. Okay, so we will go to the next block, that is block 5. And here block 5 is that is related to the perspectives of Indian tribes. Okay, so unit 17 is, that is tribe, territory, and common property resources. Here in unit 7, as it is mentioned that what are the different perspectives that is attached, or that is related to the uh, tribal communities of India. Okay, and here in this unit, we'll try to discuss who are the tribes. Okay, and how the territories and common property resources, that is explained in these tribal communities. Okay, as we have seen that the tribal communities, the first kind of definition, or first kind of explanation to understand this tribal community, uh, that is the idea that will come in our mind, that is homogeneity. Okay. The definition we generally say for the tribal communities, that is, you will find a homogeneity in their culture, in their life, or in their localities, etc. and etc. Okay, so there is a similarity of their life. Okay, uh, though they are heterogeneous group, we cannot say that, as we have seen that in India we have more than 700 tribal communities, individual tribal communities. Okay, and in Odisha you will find more than 60. Okay, 62, and there are some additions are there. Okay, so 62 or 705 or above 700. Okay, so there are many different individual tribal communities are there, but each individual tribal community, they have a certain kind of similarities. Similarities in the sense, as we were mentioning, they have some commonness, they have some kind of commonalities. Okay, as we said that, in respect to their culture, in respect to their religion, in respect to their culture, okay, or in respect to their racial identity, or different kind of thing, they have a similarities. Again, that concept of homogeneity that has been challenged by many thinkers like Andre Bhate or Khaka. Okay, so they are mentioning that that commonness in a present context, that can be challenged. Okay, as we have said that the homogeneity among this community in respect to, for example, the racial compositions. Okay, as the Herbert Risley or Guha, Hutton, Hutton and Hunt, they have tried to classify the tribal communities on the basis of different race. Okay, they have provided certain races, they are they are commonly found among the tribal communities of India. Okay, and as we know that the race of a particular community, it is only uh, that classification is only based on the physical appearance. Okay, like we are trying to differentiate the Indian people on how they, on the basis of their looks. Okay, on the basis of for example, what is the height, what is the skin color, what is the hair texture, what is the types of lip, what is the types of eye, or what is the types of facial construction. Okay, so the chin we are saying, or the cheekbones we are saying. Okay, so on the basis of that, or on the basis of skin color, okay, we are trying to categorize the different uh, so different peoples of India. Okay, for example, the Mongoloid, or the Proto-Australoid. Okay, or we are saying the Negritos. Okay, these racial communities, they have a similar kind of physical appearance, but in a present context, you may not find these kind of physical appearance or physical properties. Okay, there are various causes are there, as we have said that, the hybridization. Okay, or you can say many colonies that have been established in India. Okay, so there is a process of hybridization, inter community marriage, it has happened. Okay, and uh, the classification which were uh, happened in 80s, or in the during the period of Britishers. Okay, by this time there are many years it has passed. So the physical appearance, or the physical characteristics of those Indian tribal community, it has changed with the ecological circumstances. Okay, so in a present context, You cannot classify a tribal communities on the basis of its racial attributes. Okay, so that commonness, it is not, it cannot be found with the physical appearance. Going to the that is called the religion. Okay, as we have said that animism, totemism, naturism, okay, these are the common kind of religious practices which are found among the tribal communities. So there are similarities, but in the present context you will find presence of different religious belief in those tribal communities. As Hure said, they are the backward Hindus. Okay, so different social thinkers, they have already mentioned that they are the part of Hindu religion. Okay, and when we are discussing the caste, we have already discussed that those who are not framed in the Varna theory. Okay, these tribal communities, they are the out of that Varna theory or Varna stratification system. Okay, some thinkers, they are saying that they are the part of Hindu, and some thinkers, they are proposing that they are out of that Varna stratification system or caste stratification system. Okay, so and we have already seen that uh, because of the advent of Britishers, when they established colonies, they have entered through these tribal pockets, and the uh, growth of Christian missionaries, or the presence of Christian missionaries in these tribal pockets, they have affected the tribal religions. Okay, there is a rampant conversion, and these tribal communities, they have been converted to the Christianity. Okay, in Odisha, you must have seen the uh, in the belt of Jharsuguda and in the belt of those Sundargarhs. Okay, the Uran community or the community, the Munda community who, which are present in those belts, they have been converted. Okay, so that kind of cases are also there. So you may not find that homogeneity. Very few are left who are practicing their own traditional way of religion, that is the animism or Nesarism. Okay, so Buddhism, Jainism, that is also present in that community, tribal community. So there is no common culture or the common kind of commonness on the basis of religion you will find in this community. Okay, and going to that uh, homogeneous lifestyle or homogeneous kind of culture, that is again challenged. Okay, because of many kind of changing forces they have been exposed to, so the lifestyle or the commonness, it has changed. Okay, but one prominent characteristics that remains with this tribal community is that uh, that is the presence of we feeling, irrespective of those differences that is present. Okay, as it is mentioning that the common property and territory. Okay, no doubt territorial boundary that has been broken because of many causes, but the territorial identity of a tribal communities, that remains still intact. Okay, like we have the tribes of Bodo tribe. We are mentioning the Bodo land. We have the Naga tribe. We are mentioning the Nagaland. Okay, we have the Banda community. Okay, we are mentioning a particular area of Odisha. Okay, so the localities or the territory of those particular community, they are still intact. Okay, the idea of those tribal community or the indigenous community that is based on that particular perspective, that whoever is the native resident of that particular locality, they will be called as the indigenous people of that particular locality. Okay, they will be treated as the indigenous community of that particular locality. Okay, so that common identity based on that locality, that is still intact. And as we have already seen that from the British era, that common identity or the territorial identity, that is still intact. Okay, you must have heard about the construction of parganas in West Bengal after Santal insurrection, that is there. Okay, so they have been given a particular area for their pur- for their work or for their life. Okay, okay, class. Today we are ending here. Tomorrow we will cover the rest. Okay.
Yes.